This happened about 5 years ago. I was attending a fairly small middle school in central Wisconsin. My family has since moved to New York City, but of course, that's not the whole point of the story. Anyway, I was in 7th grade at the time, and our school didn't have much security, so it was quite easy for someone to break in. It was the last period of the day, and I was in the bathroom. An announcement came on the loudspeaker. "Attention students and staff, there is a man in the building. Please lock all the classroom doors and do not open them. This is not a drill." It's a scary feeling, being in a bathroom during a lockdown. I decided to try and get into the classroom, but it was locked. There was a janitor's closet nearby, so I figured I'd hide in there until the lockdown ended. When I closed the door, it was pitch black. I couldn't make out a thing, but as long as nobody saw me, I thought I'd be okay. Then, I heard a scratching sound. At first I thought it was coming from outside the door, so I stayed still, and I hoped that they would lose interest and go away. After a while, however, I realized that the scratching was coming from inside the closet. I turned around. Bad mistake. There was someone else in there with me. I could make out the person's eyes and mouth. Everything else was pitch black. The person's eyes were wide open, staring at me. I froze for a second, unsure what to do next. Then, I saw something that still shakes me to my core. The person started edging closer, and I could see part of his face. It was a man, and he had the widest, sinister grin I've ever seen. The smile was terrifying. I was still frozen with fear. I suddenly had the instinct to run. I opened the door and slammed it behind me. I ran, ready to report what I saw. Just then, the loudspeaker came on. "Attention students and staff, the lockdown has ended, and the man has been convicted. Thank you for being patient. Please resume normal classroom activity." I never felt more relieved in my life. I told one of the teachers what happened, and I was then escorted outside to a police officer for questioning. As I was being questioned, I saw a man in handcuffs being forced into the back of a police car. The man had a smile on his face. This happened around freshman year in high school. It was around March, and nothing bad has happened since then. I came to school around 7:25 a.m., and since I came early to school, I decided to help one of my teachers. I'll call her Miss Villa. She was an awesome teacher, often described as the best teacher in my school, since she would often help out a lot of students with their work. Everything went normal for about 1 hour, until at around 8:27 a.m., when I heard the school alarm went off. At first, I thought to myself, what the heck is going on? Since there has been a school lockdown since 20 years. I thought it was just a drill, but it wasn't. The school principal announced, "This is a hard lockdown. Keep all doors shut." I felt very scared, but I tried to keep myself calm and said to myself everything will be fine, until I saw an old man around his late 40s. He didn't see me or anything, but I started to freak out, thinking he was going to hurt me or other people in the school. I was with my teacher, so I felt somewhat safe since they called the authorities for my school. However, it didn't mean that I was 100% safe, as the man started yelling and started threatening the teacher and students. The students and teachers were mostly inside the classroom, but I believe that the guy knew that we were hiding in there. As soon as I told the teacher to do something about it, I heard someone scream, and I couldn't do anything about it since the guy was mostly armed and my teachers couldn't do anything about it either. My teacher got a knife and started attacking the guy. She was successful in hurting him, but didn't really injure him 100%. Then she started running away, and then the guy started chasing after her. He almost caught her, but missed since there were now police officers up on the 4th floor of the building. He tried running away through the other side of the hallway, but then he got caught by security. He was later identified as a 45-year-old drug dealer and human trafficker, and he somehow got past school security. Chills went down my spine after hearing this. He managed to get through scanning without security even knowing. So this happened when I was in elementary, and it was around 4th or 5th grade. So I was hella excited for the day because, of course, it was hat day. Bring $1 in, give it to your teacher, you can wear your hat. So the day went normal. Went to breakfast, had specials, went to class, all that fun stuff. Now the best time of the day came around, lunch. So I was super excited because we get to go to recess after lunch, but I was already super hungry. I get in line, get my food, pay, and sit down with some of my friends. Probably around 20 minutes or so go by. I have no idea how long the time we get to eat our food is, but it was probably around 30 minutes. I was done with my food and kind of sitting there and chatting with my friends, as normal. Another 10 minutes go by, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried, because we're staying longer than usual. So I get up and ask a teacher what's going on. She said, "Sorry, hun, I don't know." 3 minutes go by, and the principal comes down and the teacher shuts off the cafeteria doors. Everyone is freaking out a bit. Not a lot, they're just confused on what's going on. So the principal comes down in the cafeteria and says, "Everyone, pay attention please. We are going into a soft lockdown, so please stay in your seat and do not get up. Nobody will be let out of the halls." And then she left. Around 20 minutes go by, and everyone is a little freaked out. Some people are starting to cry, but not a lot, maybe like 3 girls. I'm basically talking with my friends and chatting with people around me, trying to keep my mind on what's happening. The teachers then start closing the blinds on the windows. The cafeteria had 5 big windows with blinds on top. The intercom starts to start up and says, "Everyone, we are going on a hard lockdown. Stay where you are, now." Everyone is freaking out. The hour goes by. Half the people are crying. I'm being a little bit dramatic, and I'm even crying myself. And so basically, I start writing on paper, "If I don't make it out alive, I love you" type crap. And so I'm literally having a mental breakdown while half of the place is crying. I get up and ask the teacher what's going on, and she said there were people who were saying the school is going into a shooting. They are protesting outside the school, and the police are outside. I literally froze. I then ran back over to my seat and told the people around me what's happening, and I started hugging everyone, thinking this might be the last time I'm ever going to see my parents again. After what feels like 100 hours, the intercom finally comes back on and says, "We're going back into a soft lockdown." I'm still crying and hugging my friends. 40 minutes pass, and the lockdown is now over. We survived. Everyone is still kind of crying, but happy and stuff. So it takes us about 20 minutes to get out of the cafeteria. We get out, and the people's moms and dads are there to pick them up. I'm going into the classroom trying to think about what the hell happened. It was already 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and my mom was on her way. After what probably felt like 20, 30, 40 minutes of waiting, while crying for my mom, she finally shows up. I hug her so tight. I might have hugged her the tightest I've ever hugged anyone in my entire life. And then we went home. I was telling my mom what happened all the way there. I was absolutely traumatized. I'm just so grateful and thankful that I walked out alive. It happened in 2014 in November. I'm a senior in high school and graduating soon this year. I remember feeling dreadful, not wanting to go to school, because somehow I knew that something bad was about to happen. After arguing with myself as to whether or not I'm going to school and texting my friends, I decided to go to my mom and tell her I won't be going to school, since we will only be watching movies and eating free food given by the teacher. I finally convinced her, and I went to sleep. Two of my friends also told me that they're not going to go to school either. Then, I received a text message from my dad and friends that came back from the school. It says, "The school is on lockdown. All students and staff are to remain inside the classrooms. The police are on their way. A student is allegedly threatening all staff with a weapon in hand." This is normal for me. The school lockdowns when there's trouble. It happened twice in 5 years. At first, my school wasn't bad as it is right now. We had a student council, and we would look up to them, and they regulate school rules, and are always the ones that stop the fights or anything that would harm the students. When the seniors who were all part of the student council graduated, everything went bad. As in bad, my school was suddenly reported for drug deals, fights inside the school, my school wanting to fight another school, and bomb threats. I can recall events where the police were escorting a student a year below mine. The next day, my friends who were at school told me what happened. Apparently, a guy who's 6 foot tall went on a rampage when a teacher told him off for not doing his work and not graduating. The creepy thing, though, was that he's in the same year as me, and I often see him at school, and he looks harmless. He broke the school's windows in the 700 block, went to the cooking class and grabbed a kitchen knife as a weapon, and was threatening everyone that he will kill them. They called the police and made the students go into their classes and remain in class until the police got into school. Fortunately, they were brave students and they knew how to defend themselves, and they decided to imprison the student in a closet taller than him. A student kicked the knife away from his hand, and they pushed him into the closet and locked him there until the police arrived. I don't know what happened after that, but there were rumors that he was put in jail, suspended, and expelled, and went to another school. It was a good thing I wasn't there. Many times my instinct has saved me from danger, and this is